I know this is part of Richard Lane. That's what I always want to say when I get up there. All right, everybody, I'm going to call this meeting to order. You can all take your seats, please. Welcome to Staff Senate on this beautiful spring break day. I've been told by our secretary that we do have quorum, so we're ready to move forward. I hope everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from last time. So if I could get somebody to make a motion that we approve those. Second. Do we have a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, the minutes have been approved for the last meeting. So I want to talk just briefly today. Don't worry, I'm not going to get into a long, nerdy lecture, but I was looking into authentic leadership, and I was comparing this to what we do as staff senators. And I think that, so if you have I will get a little nerdy because that's just sort of who I am. But if you have a sheet of paper, I would encourage you, I'm going to give you 5 things, and you can sort of think through how you're doing those as a leader, and then give yourself a score for that. And some of you may have a score for how you're doing as a senator and a score for how you do in your professional position. But just thinking through, authentic leaders are those that are genuine and real, right? This is a theory that's still forming, but it's due to our desire to have leaders who are good, right? We have a lot of leaders out there in the world that are not so honest and not so good. So that's what the drive behind this is. The first characteristic is the authentic leaders have to have a purpose and know where you're headed. So as a senator, if you were to get asked by a constituent, what is your purpose and do you know where you're headed? Whether that's as the only senator from your area or one of a group of senators from your area, whether that's a member of a Senate committee, a leader for a Senate committee, do you know your purpose? Because what purpose manifests itself into is passion. And when we see that passion, our followers then want to follow us because they know where we're going. Nobody wants to be the person following that leader that's doing zigzags, right? It's a lot easier to follow a leader that has purpose. And passionate people are interested in what they're doing, and they're inspired and they're intrinsically motivated. So you can have extrinsic motivation and intrinsic. Intrinsic is when your child just wants to make good grades, not because you're paying them, right? Mm-hmm. And so do you have that drive? So this is the first characteristic. Second, they have values. So as a senator, do you know what you stand for? Do you know what values you have to this university? Do you know what values you stand for with your constituents? If not, then you're having the meeting after the meeting, in the break room, the sidebar conversations. You're representing yourself as this thing to this group and this thing to another group. And then this quality manifests itself in your behavior as a leader. And we all know that leader is not necessarily the person at the top of the organization chart. Everybody can lead from where you are. You're all supposed to be leading from where you are, and you're doing a great job. But authentic leaders act in accordance with their values. So is that something that you're doing? The third, they build relationships with others. That connectedness is what makes you an authentic leadership. Your followers feel connected to you, like you matter. You share your experiences, and they are willing to listen and share their experiences. And then communication is very important. We talked a lot about that in your journey as a senator. The fourth is self-discipline. Do you have focus and determination to do what you need to do? We've talked many times about you're in this room because you were elected, and there are many more that were not and didn't get to be in this room. So what self-discipline do you have in your role that allows you to move towards that goal, towards those values, towards that purpose? Self-disciplined leaders, they remain cool, calm, and consistent in stressful situations. Are you serving as that to your constituents in your area? Doesn't mean that they don't have passion and that they don't care, but they do remain cool, calm, and consistent. Next and last, they have heart and they show compassion. So if you're talking to an authentic leader, you can tell what they're invested in. You can tell. If you go over to the State House, you can tell the ones that are invested in education, the ones that are invested in the state, the ones that are invested in the true issues that you're invested in. You can just tell. And you can tell the ones that are just saying the talk and trying to get out the door to go to the next reception, or do you ever get back the form letter, thank you for your opinion on, fill in the blank, that kind of thing. Are you a leader who's authentic? When you get an email from your constituents, are you responding to that and having a heart and compassion towards that, being sensitive to what their needs are? And I guess a step back from that, are they even able to contact you? Do they know where to find you, how to find you? And then do you know what to then do with that information? So that's my short little chat, but I'll remind you, this is a picture I showed you in our very first meeting, you're right. And we talked about you can choose to live in the front row or the third row. And I definitely want to be a front row person. I don't know about you, but that looks like a fun place to be in the front row. But we can do all those things that an authentic leader does and still be in the front row. So that is my challenge to you all, to be an authentic leader and lead well. As we said before, you're setting the foundation for the staff senate, and you're doing a really good job. And we want to continue that and see it grow. So thank you for all that you all are doing. Next up, I'm going to hand over to a couple of grad students that are working with us. They've taken on, come on guys, come on up. They are doing a project in Dr. Amba Faluka's class on assessment. And so they are assessing a couple of things as part of a project that we gave them for the staff senate. And I'll put this up. They're doing a poster project with I think there's 3 groups in the class, and all 3 groups will be having just a stand up, drop in. But this is when it's going to take place, and I've been asked to invite you guys to come to it, and they're going to share what they find. But right now, they just wanted to talk to you for a few minutes. So I'll turn the mic to, will you guys tell us your names and where you're from? Perfect. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Emma Mwema. I am an international student from Kenya. I'm currently a first-year student in the Higher Education and Student Affairs program, and I work in the International Student Services.
Hey guys, thanks for having us. So I'm Annalie Taylor. I'm originally from Columbia, actually, and I'm also a first year, and I work in the Gamecock Entertainment office, so over in Russell House and with Student Life.
Okay, so both of us are attending a class in assessment, and our group work, we have been tasked to find out how the staff senate can increase voter engagement. And in doing that, we're going to find out how can we bring awareness about the staff senate to the staff, and at the same time, find out how would they like to be communicated. So that's our assignment.
So we are working on a short survey. We're hoping to get final approval, if not this week, then right after spring break, and then send it out to your exec team and to the rest of the senators. So we need y'all's help to distribute it. So our plan is to send it through the senators and then let y'all distribute it to your departments the way that works best for your department. You know your team, you know how they need to receive information. And so that is our goal, to have everything kind of back the first week of April and then get it all processed and analyzed and ready for our poster presentation. That's good. So sorry.
We are looking for 100% participation. We know that is difficult.
We can do it.
We can do it, right? We have just seen who our leader is. I believe we can do it. So we are requesting for 100% participation, knowing that the response rate will be 30%. But we're shooting for 100%. So please join us for 100%. Thank you.
Do y'all have any questions? All right, so we can definitely have 100% of the senators sending out. That's a done. We can check that box. Yes. Yes, did you see a question? Did somebody have a question?
No,
Oh, okay.
The next level is the 100%. There's some guarantee.
Yeah, oh, that's guaranteed. Yeah, 100% of us are going to send it out. Not a problem. If you have questions about who and how you can reach your constituents, talk to some of the other areas that are doing it really well. And if there's anything from executive that we can do, this project is really a gift and a wonderful opportunity to have some consultants in training to do our project and our work for us. And so thank you to you guys. And they've got 2 more members of their team as well. So please write this opportunity down to come and drop in, see the poster, and then there'll be other opportunities for us to share their work as well, but would love the participation there. Thank you all so much.
Very much.
Thank you.
Good luck on our project. Okay, now we're going to move on to the reports of the officers, and so I'll turn it over to Tyson Lust, our parliamentarian.
All right, so thank you, Shelley. We've got one agenda item from the bylaws committee. It was approved by the bylaws committee, approved by exec. We presented this to you in our last meeting, so we met the 30-day or the 1-month threshold. And this was to change the staff policy and welfare committee to the staff policy and well-being committee. This committee asked for that change. Bylaws approved unanimously. Executive committee approved unanimously. We presented it last month. So before I make a motion to accept that, does anyone have any questions on that change? All right, so I'll make a motion. All right, so I'll move that we adopt the new bylaw, amend the bylaws to reflect the staff policy and welfare committee. It's now the staff policy and well-being committee.
All right, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it passes unanimously. Fantastic. We will now move on to the report. Everybody good? We'll move on to the reports of the officers. And so first up, we'll have membership. Anything to report from?
No report.
Okay, thank you. Communications.
Our teams.
Yes,
Right.
your
There's
president.
different channels.
You can just scroll down, use the little up and down.
Like if I go here, if I can.
No, we'll just have to reverse back to that page. It's fine.
Are you sure?
I think it's on the same deck as
Here, here's another one.
Yeah, go to the same one.
If you I just can do arrow this. I down. can do this.
Okay.
I don't wanna. I want to show you guys a link. We had posted it in the Teams chat, but just in case people didn't see that. We also changed our staff site website a little bit. Okay, so 2 members of our communications committee, we've shared this update before, but Bailey and Juan Sellers have been maintaining the website and posting updates as we have this. We just added this new section right here, news, and one of the goals of our committee is to flesh this out a little bit more. But we decided that this is a good spot for now for this online form that was shared maybe a week or 2 ago in the Staff Senate Teams platform. So if you do have, I think somebody said, or maybe we've already gotten some submissions already, but this is a great link that you can now share with your constituents, and please feel free to use yourself, where you can just plug in this information. I guess we're in Antonia now. And share any stories that you have that would be great to be featured. So as we've shared in previous updates, we're still working on using UofSC Times as a platform for that to start with. I believe these are all going to Bailey's email address, and we're talking through in our committee whether that's the best spot or if we don't want to burden Andrew, the staff secretary's email with that, but if it makes sense to direct it that way or create a new email. But really, I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of this form. This is our newest accomplishment in our committee, a centralized place to start to collect these stories so that we can really try to feature and promote staff across campus. Any questions before I turn this over?
Okay, you guys, that is really awesome. Thank you. That's really great. And so I hope that you guys will use that opportunity to submit if you're getting proposals to presentations accepted, any offices in national professional development organizations, awards, that kind of thing would be fantastic to really start to share. Staff do not do a very good job of sharing their own accolades. So if you feel weird about submitting it, email it to me and I'll submit it for you. But we need to get those things in there. That's really important. Again, thank you to that committee. Next up is policy and well-being.
All right. Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So we're going to start with the good news. So we've been busy. We've been working on trying to take the results of that survey that you all did and pass on to your constituents and try to make some traction with that. And we are happy to report that a couple of those things actually showed up in the March supervisors newsletter. Now, I don't get that newsletter, so this was new for me. But we're really happy that they're paying attention and actually doing something with the information that we presented, the information that you all helped us gather from your constituents. So the first is we had some people that were very interested in utilizing their sick leave and understanding how they can use that for mental health purposes. So now in the supervisor's email, it is just letting them know that sick leave can be used for mental health. That's huge for employees that really need to know that. And we've gone on to explain all the resources, the mental health resources that the university has, but you know, yay team. And then the other one, the other one is more information, but also a good thing to know. We want you to help us remind your leadership in your division that they can utilize flexible scheduling, particularly with summer coming. And we know that in the summer, there may be some childcare changes that could help you work a different schedule, work longer hours some days, shorter hours some days. But we want you to start discussing that because this can really help some of your staff in all of your divisions.
And on top of that, we know that there is a lot of impact economically happening in our world with our nation as a result of foreign affairs and a war. And the big part that we were asked, even by my constituents, is what are supervisors doing for the impact of that? And I think that's a great question to ask your leadership and to have your supervisors and managers check in with staff about the need even now of, is your current schedule working? If they have that ability to do that with their schedule, can they utilize flexible schedules or change things up? Telecommuting, we just got an update today with Vice President Agardi sharing that that telecommuting policy is going to be updated to allow probationary employees to telecommute, which is huge. So that's another great win. A big win that just came through right at lunch today. And the big part that we're seeing with especially working with Vice President Agardi is that when leadership is bought in, this group can do a lot of influence and can make a lot of great changes. So please connect with your constituents, share these news, especially about the mental health with sick leave, because that was a big one, but then also with the flexible work schedules, because it is here, it is for all employees to look at and utilize, whether it is as a unit they tackle it or as an individual, but to have those discussions. And then if not, connecting with human resources if they need to discuss more. Our committee, with Brad Holt's help, has dove into parking.
Remember, I started with the good news.
Yeah, being number one in our world for both, or for the surveys, at least that we got from you all, what our constituents are hoping for. You can see the response that we got back on our Teams channel, but in essence, they basically let us know, hey, parking hasn't been updated since 2016. We haven't even looked at policies since 2016. We asked about even Z permits and what would happen if those were taken away or made free. And they just talked about the impact financially that would happen. And even the incentives for seniority. And there's a lot of different loops and hoops that are tied into this stuff. So our committee is going to be discussing this on Thursday in our regular meeting, but we are going to be diving a little bit more, connecting back with parking and transportation services, just to learn more about how can we make some changes and influence in the realm of parking, especially if it hasn't been talked about in 6 years. So that's going to be on our agenda coming up. But then also on the horizon, there's a lot of things that are coming from this group connecting with our group. So the class and compensation study, that is still happening, and we'll get that information end of spring into early summer of just what they got from that information. We'll keep you updated. Vice President Agarty and the human resources team are actually meeting with the chief human resource officers in meetings. And now, because we collected data, they are now asking other institutions, what are your staff saying about X, Y, Z? Because what they want to do is go to PIBA and go to the top and say, we need to make changes. And our staff has taken that first step. So I do applaud you all with that data right there. We talked a little bit about the telecommuting already. And even from senators in here. So where's Senator Rose? Connecting with us about the ADA accommodations with emergencies and just the passion for the why that you all stepped in your role and the why that she's in her role. And so really figuring out if there are burning things that you really want to have worked on, connect with one of us in our committee. Can you guys raise your hands in our committee? Perfect. If I raise your hand. We are a small but mighty group, but we want to see things happen. And we're definitely doers, as you all know, and we're trying to move the needle a little bit as we can. And I'm going to actually ask Allie to step up if you can share a little bit about the paid family leave, because that was in our top 5. And we've got some information for that too.
Sure. So I'm just sharing a little bit. Shelly has already shared some of this really important information in the Teams channel. So if you haven't seen it, about some really great work that PACWE is doing. And I'm up here sharing because the 2 staff members who have been really leading the charge on that, Sarah Barnett and Catherine Flowers. Catherine Flowers is in the UN01 office, and Sarah Barnett is in the Honors College with me, and I work with both of them closely, and so I know a little bit just from the grapevine through them. But they've been doing so much work on an open letter that Shelly did share with all of us, that if you haven't read it yet, I please encourage you to read this letter. I encourage you to share it with your staff, your constituents. I think it's an important topic of conversation. It's something that our committee has also spoken with Vice President Agarty about specifically, and this is at the state level. That we have to make waves in order to get heard at the state level, because this is not something that our state legislators are ultimately controlling. So we do, want to encourage you to attend this event next Tuesday. They're asking folks to come and meet at the top of the Horseshoe, so kind of over by the South Carolina Library, to listen, to share stories. And this is what I'm going to put in this plug. What Shelly sent out had a link to, if you have a story, if you are a parent and have navigated the parental leave policies loosely at the university, and how you can utilize FMLA for parental leave. If you have a story to share, they want to hear it. And I think if we could partner with PACWE on the great efforts that they are already making, that would be really fantastic. So I know Megan and I are going to be there. I know I've heard some other folks in the room who are going to be there next week sharing some of our stories. So if you have a story to share, I encourage you to do so. It's important. So thanks.
Any questions? Any questions for anyone from the Policy and Wellbeing Committee or regarding the PACWE event? Yes.
I think we've had the same issue with our team in terms of flexibility and not listening. But I noticed that they had a letter that was sent out when I put
Okay. The one that I
that.
sent?
Heard that or?
No, I have not heard that. Okay. I think I'm the only one that's posted it at this point, so it would be what I sent.
I think
Okay. I may need to reach out for some help from somebody who's team savvy with that. Thank you for letting me know. There's just really important stuff that's happening, and Policy and Wellbeing, their purpose seems to keep growing and growing, and we're so thankful to them for the work that they do and the difference that they're making for all of us. So thank y'all again. Next up is professional development.
We have no report at this time.
Okay. Next, community project. No, you go. No, you go. Okay, you both go.
Good afternoon.
afternoon.
We're super excited to be here to talk about the Gamecock Pantry and our relationship with them in promoting the Top 5 Drive. And so Tracy passed out a copy of the flyer earlier. Members of our team have shared it with the exec, that have gone out to staff senate, and hopefully you're sharing it with your constituents. And so the kickoff was March 7th, which was yesterday, and we hope to see more donations come in through the 9th. Thank you all for what you've done so far with donating today in the lobby. So great job there. Thank you. And this is our big spring event. And so please encourage everyone to donate, because no matter how small the donation is, whatever it is, it counts. Even if it's something that's not on the list and you want to donate, we hope you will do that, because it has a huge impact for staff. It has a huge impact for students, it has a huge impact for our community and for our university. So thank you. And we have small tokens of thanks to people who donate through a small drawing. And so don't forget to fill out a ticket if you brought something today. And if you have a member of your constituency that did something, send their names our way. We'll make sure they were included in the drawing.
And you, oh, go ahead. Yeah, in Amazon. So there's also the Amazon link is on here. They have a donate for a wish list for items that they desperately need. Amber has let us know that the pantry is very low right now. So that's why we're trying to do it at this very point in time. And then in addition to that, if you do have either yourself and or any staff who maybe are not able to donate material items, you are more than welcome to potentially donate your time. We're going to be organizing in the pantry this Thursday and Friday in between 8:30 and 5, anytime that you might be available, even if it's 30 minutes. And that link to sign up for that is open to everyone, and it is in the Staff Senate Teams chat, but we can make sure it's also included in an email after this. So do you have any questions?
And what a great opportunity to network and meet other staff senators. And so we want to see that list grow, and we'll figure out how to get everybody in there and working together and getting to know each other a little bit better.
Any questions? All right, thanks.
Well, thank you all.
Thank y'all so much for doing this. And I would just add as an aside, if you have an apartment complex or, neighborhood associations get a bad rap for a lot of things. Some deserve it, I would imagine, but I will say, I have put this out on mine several times, and food shows up on the front porch, or they'll use the Amazon. So sometimes people are just looking to do good, and if you provide them with the right avenue for doing so. So maybe even just to sort of get your juices flowing about some outside the university ways to get others to give. I've had success with doing that. Your book club, whatever else you've got going on. But thank you guys for keeping us in the loop on that and making it easy for us to give here. Next up, bylaws. Okay. And then next up is our ad hoc committee. Okay, we're looking forward to hearing from you guys next month or the next month. We can talk.
We'll be able to report verbally next month and have a written report in May.
Fantastic. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Can I take, you want to take it?
Yeah. Is the next slide the next slide?
You may do it to the next one?
Yeah, you go to that.
Okay, great.
I want to introduce y'all, come out to the
Oh,
slide.
we don't need to stop. Sorry, I missed the opportunity.
That was your comment. There you go.
Okay. You want to start it?
Okay,
You
yeah,
can
so, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for being here today. We are going to introduce the senators that are running for executive committee roles for our next term, which starts July 2022. Can't believe we're almost done here. So sad about that. But anyway, but we're grateful that you all have chosen to participate at a higher level in the staff senate. So our first person that is up for candidacy is Bo Hart, and he is a candidate for parliamentarian. Senator Hart.
Whichever you prefer.
All right. Thanks, everyone. My name is Bo Hart. I am the staff senator for the Darla Moore School of Business.
Because the camera's pointing that way.
Okay.
Don't ask me, Bo. I don't know things. What questions do you know? Thank you.
We'll start over. My name is Bo Hart. I'm a staff senator for the Darla Moore School of Business. In my real job at the business school, I am on the alumni engagement team. So I travel and network and meet with our alumni across the country and the world. We have 55,000 alumni at the Moore School that are currently living. I'm currently the co-chair of the bylaws committee with the awesome Kim Rose and our fun committee with Priscilla and Barry and Tyson. And some may call me a bylaws nerd because last year I'm on my high school's alumni board, and I rewrote our bylaws for my high school. In 2020 during COVID at the Moore School, we spent a lot of time rewriting our young alumni board bylaws, so we rewrote those. I was on a committee at one of my alma maters, Virginia Tech, to establish a young alumni board, and we established those bylaws. and then Dean Bruce at the business school has charged me to help create a staff council for the business school. So myself and a few other staff members are currently writing and redoing bylaws for a staff council at the business school. And all I'll say is I've got experience leading meetings, enforcing rules, and I understand our current bylaws, but I have big shoes to fill with Tyson, and hopefully we'll be able to understand Robert Rules of Order, and would be honored to be the parliamentarian. So thank you.
Bo, where were you when we were writing these bylaws? I mean, come on. We were struggling.
So Val, we wish we would have had you earlier. It's okay. So next up is Catherine Hilson for secretary. So, and I did need to mention 3 minutes or so, but we're flexible, right? So it's okay. I kind of just go with the flow. I know we're not supposed to do that. Sorry.
I'll keep it very brief. That's going to be a tough act to follow. Hi, my name is Catherine Hilson. I am a senator currently for the Division of Student Affairs and Academic Support. In my day-to-day job, I work in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I have a long title, but it just means I work in recruitment with a lot of students and organize a lot of things. I'm a very organized person. I take a lot of notes. I share a lot of notes. Previously, from experience, I was an undergrad the secretary for student government, so I have some secretary experience, but also love to learn people's names, love to get to know you. And if you have any other questions, happy to answer them, but that's basically my quick spiel. Okay, awesome.
All right, so next up, we have our candidate for treasurer, that is Senator Bridget Leslie. She currently serves as our treasurer right now.
Good afternoon. I'm humbled again to be able to run for the office of treasurer. I don't take it lightly. Fiscal accountability and being a servant leader is important to me, and having those core values are really mean a lot to me. And the main reason I wanted to serve on the staff senate was to help ensure that there was advocacy for the staff. And being a servant leader, the things that I can do behind the scenes to help build those relationships and forge us progressively moving forward to secure funding, resources, any in-kind donations that we can is why I wanted to serve as a treasurer. And if elected, I will continue to serve in that capacity and help develop more processes and procedures around our financial responsibility and fiscal accountability. So I appreciate having the honor to serve with the wonderful executive committee in this inaugural year, but I'm willing to continue to serve in this capacity if you have me. Thank you so much.
All righty, so now we have our vice presidential candidates, and our first person is Senator Colacione, Megan Colacione.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It'll take some time, probably to learn how to always pronounce it, but yes, Colacione.
You have to say it twice.
Right?
Right.
I am excited to be in front of you and just share my passion and hope for what I can bring to this vice president role. When I really looked at this role, I learned three things that are very evident in what this role is about. And so it's about learning, leading, and growing. So for me, I'm a senator in the Division of Student Affairs and Academic Support. I currently serve as the assessment director for the Department of Student Life. So data is in my blood. And that is a big strategic skill set that I have that I like to bring to the table. So first thing for me is always analyzing what is the current state of the staff experience? What is actually happening that we all know, right? We can assume, but do we have it written down somewhere? Something I've learned from leadership is that you have to have evidence-based decisions, and you have to have evidence in front of them to help them make decisions for the institution. So for me, that learning the state of the staff experience, learning the expertise of everyone in this room. There is so much that I know I still do not know of every person and what they bring and the skill set that you all have. And I think we just need to tap into that a little more together. That way we can evolve and kind of grow in the areas that you all decided to become passionate about to become a senator in, that we can actually make the changes that you hope. I think the biggest part too is linking to leadership at the institution with this role with the president-elect. And we have President Emeritus and a new provost coming in. We're having top leadership deans. We're also having our vice president of student affairs was just announced that he is going to be retiring in January. So there's a lot of big positions being filled. And the purpose of Staff Senate is to share that staff voice. And I want to help be that leader with executive members to be able to share that at the top levels, to sit on various committees to make sure that we're filling in the gaps where we weren't looked before. I really like to bring radical candor to everything I do. If you know anything, what you get is what you see. And so for me, it's about being upfront, honest, and authentic in everything that we're doing. I lead with my heart, and I want to lead with that with you all, and especially to our leadership at the institution. I want to challenge the status quo. That's a big part of my world, is being a challenger. Why are things the way they are, and how can we make them better? Just because it isn't broken, don't fix it. I don't roll that way. I want to make sure that we're looking towards the future and paying it forward for those after us. Developing those innovative solutions is a part of that, and it comes connected to a part of who you all are. And then again, the representation, looking at our staff senate, are we representative of truly our staff body? And how can we influence and engage more staff across the institution to be bought in and see that we are not just informants going back to each, your units and leadership, just telling them what we're doing, but we're actually change makers.
and encouraging that change-making process to continue and to thrive. Then the last part of growing. So for me, it's about that advocacy, and it's about growing those relationships across campus. We know that some leadership is bought in and understands that we are here and we're here to make some change. But we know there's other leadership that is not quite as bought in yet. And that's where I hope that we can really grow with our staff senate. I really hope to grow that spark and light the spark in others and really encourage others to take a stand or take a step forward, maybe into their comfort or discomfort zone, step out of their comfort zone so that they can start doing things that you all decided, right, you wanted to step in the seat to do on behalf of your constituents. And then it all links back to me for paying it forward. I've been at Carolina for 8 years, 10 years, if I include my 2 graduate years, and I want to leave this place way better than I found it. I've been a part of various committees across this institution when it comes to the Provost Advisory Council for Women Initiatives, the President's Diversity and Inclusion Council. You can read all that on Teams online. But for me, it's about how can I use my area locus of control to help make influence to just make it better. And so I want to connect with you all. I want to connect with your stories and your why and figure out what is that solution to make the change that you want to see happen. With that, I thank you for letting me speak in front of you today and appreciate your time.
Our next candidate that is running for Vice President of the Staff Senate is Dr. Mike Dial.
Mr. Mike Dial.
Mr. Mike Dial.
I would love to be a doctor, but not there yet.
Not yet.
As a native son of the state of Illinois, the city of Springfield, Abraham Lincoln, as you may know, was also from Springfield, Illinois. When he was running for president, a young woman, a young girl said, "Hey, you might be more electable with a beard." And it's like a midlife crisis that I think broke guys can do. I'm here today in front of a beard, and I am humbled and honored to get to speak to you today. Let me first say, and this is probably the first time I've ever said this in my life, but I'd really love to be the vice president, but I'd also be thrilled to lose to Tyson or Megan. I think everyone in the room hopefully can agree with me that no matter who gets your vote of the 3 of us, one of those 3 will be an excellent partner to soon to be President James, and hopefully a successful president themselves one day. So thank you both for stepping into this opportunity as well. In the inaugural year of Staff Senate, I've tried to encourage the Senate to stand up and be a voice for staff. For far too long, you've heard me say it before, I think staff have been voiceless on this campus, especially in terms of institutional governance. We saw that more than ever in our last presidential search, in initial COVID policies, et cetera. It's great to see this body and to have been a part of this body step up into that void. Like Megan, I've been here about 8 years, if you include my 8 or 9 years, if you include my 1.5 years in grad school. This university has given a ton to me, and the staff, especially of this institution, have given a lot to me in terms of professional development, opportunities, collaborate, and work together. And the Staff Senate has been my way to give back, one of my ways to give back. In my role, I'm their staff senator for the provost reporting units. In my professional world, I work in advising. I oversee our undergraduate advising initiative. My whole world is wrapped around supporting people, supporting our advisors who work on this campus, supporting the students that they support. It's an important thing for me and a reason I want to be given this opportunity to serve and support each of you. I've encouraged my peers to voice their concerns. I think I've done a fairly good job of opening up means of communication with my constituents. I'd love to help others do that. I believe the most important thing, though, that the successful vice presidential candidate will do is further build relationships on this campus. Relationships with other members of the exec group, relationships with campus leadership, relationships with the staff senators, and relationships for senators with their respective areas, hoping to bridge those gaps. I'm a relationship builder by nature. It's my favorite thing to do. I love meeting people. I love getting to know people. I love learning what makes people tick. I would love in this role to learn what makes each of you tick and find ways to position you all to be as successful as possible. My top priorities over the next few years would include supporting President James' priorities, obviously, in her evolving roles, ensuring that staff across units have equitable representation on Staff Senate, improving communication to constituents, helping those who are less tech savvy, find those ways to use our tech on campus to improve the communication, finding additional ways for staff to serve in leadership roles on campus. I think there are several opportunities out there. promoting equitable support and policies for staff across units. We have a lot of inequitable rules and regulations and policies based on who supervisors are or what unit someone serves in. I think finding ways to promote equity across units would go a long way. Building relationships with university leadership and further enhancing the visibility of the Senate, individual senators, and the staff on our campus. So many of my goals are your goals. I think we've done incredible work. I think we have work to go. Staff Senate has made incredible progress in our first year, establishing credibility on this campus. Like Megan said, with new leadership coming in at all levels, we have a lot of opportunities to further engage in our credibility building, and I would love the opportunity to be at the table as that occurs. Thank you for all who will support me in this endeavor. Thank you too to everyone who will support my friends Tyson and Megan. Either way, I think we're in good hands, and I think that's the most important thing. And thank you to Dr. Dempsey and everyone who's already serving in this role. It's been a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful year. I look forward in whatever capacity I get to serving with each of you again for one more year.
All right, and last but not least, our parliamentarian Tyson Lusk, who's another candidate for Vice President of Staff Senate.
Well, thank you, Angela. First, let me say that call Winston-Salem home. So while we do not have arguably the greatest president in the history of the United States, Winston-Salem, we are home to Krispy Kreme. Shout out, not exactly the same, but never miss an opportunity. So in my day job, I'm a director for development in athletics, and what that basically boils down to is a fundraiser for the athletic department. But I think all of us in development would say that we have really two key goals and what we try to do on a daily basis that I think are transferable to what I want to do as vice president, and that's make the university more excellent and tell the story of the university to garner support. So we work every day to try to make the University of South Carolina continue to be the flagship in the state. And we do that by building relationships and by soliciting support. And I think that's the key that I want to illustrate as vice president is being an internal and an external advocate for the staff. I think what we've really come to realize is that we need to not only advocate for those who are, advocate to those who are employed by the University of South Carolina, but we have to be an advocate at the State House and in local government because so much of this falls into those reins. And I would draw on my experiences as a community advocate, as a community organizer, because I think the thing we've really got to do and that we have done and that we can continue to do is channel our power. You know, we have an incredible amount of experience in this room, not only in this room, but on our campus, but we have an incredible amount of power. It's amazing what can be accomplished when an office, whether it's on campus or off campus, gets 5 phone calls or 5 letters or 5 emails, all pulling on the same string, right? So if we work together, we can be an incredible force. And that's what I want to do as vice president. And that's what I feel like I do on my daily basis is find ways for people to maximize their impact. And I think we can do that by being organized and being strategic. Every time we go into visit with a donor, we have a strategy, right? So every day I'm trying to find a new strategy for this person. And every strategy is different depending on who you're meeting with. Well, that's no different than any leader on this campus. The new president, Dr. Amaritas, there's going to be different ways we need to approach him versus who the next VP for Student Affairs is, right? So we have to be strategic. We have to rely on our expertise. We have to rely on the expertise of the people in this room. There are folks in this room who are going to be directly reporting to those individuals. We're going to rely on you for information gathering, for strategic vision. And then once we develop that strategy, we just have to be organized and not just making sure that everyone knows what's going on, but empowering people and training people on how to be effective advocates. So I think channeling our power is key. And then when I was at a previous institution, we heard from the president of High Point, who's an immigrant, came over here with nothing. And his approach to leading was get me to yes, right? And I just thought that was so powerful. Like we can always have an idea and you can hear lots of no's why we can't do it. Well, we're a state institution, we can't do it. Well, there's this, there's that. And I understand, but let's attack these problems with the goal of get me to yes. And let's work on it together. Let's be strategic. Let's channel our power together. And that's what I try to do daily. And that's what the kind of experience I want to bring to here. How can we be strategic? How can we develop these relationships? And then I'm a professional asker. So I don't mind asking people what we need, because you're not asking for yourself, you're asking for a higher purpose, right? We're just trying to make the staff more excellent. And when you make the staff more excellent, you make the state's flagship university more excellent. And that's our goal. All we need to do is make sure that those in power understand that investing in your staff, listening to your staff, can impact the students, can impact the state, and can impact the world. Because we've got students on this campus and staff on this campus who are working on things that can change Columbia, can change the state of South Carolina, can change the United States, and I don't say this lightly, but can change the world. Some of the things that we can do literally change the world. So why not throw everything on the table and try to be as excellent as possible and go out and make a huge difference? So I appreciate your time. If anyone has any questions, concerns, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to answer any of those, but appreciate your indulgence. Thank you.
Well, thank you to all the candidates. We really appreciate you all sharing your knowledge, who you are, what you hope for. I think, Mike, you said this, anyone who lands in these positions is going to be great and for the organization. So as senators, it's your voice. You are going to be able to vote. You will get an email in 9 minutes. We scheduled it, we just like to stay organized over here. So you'll get an email in 9 minutes with information on how to vote. So it's a voting system, and it was similar to what you used when you were voting for the Senate seats, right? And so we ask that you take time between 4 p.m. today and Friday, 5 p.m. It closes at 5 p.m. on Friday, and if you call us or ask us to mess, we are not going to mess with the system, okay? So what I would ask all of my lovely senators, please log in and just make sure you can get into the system. If you're not ready to vote or you're like, not sure, it's okay. But by tomorrow, check the system to make sure you have access. And then we will problem solve. And when we say we, Bridget will help us problem solve behind the scenes because she's our expert on the system. But we do the work, we do the labor, but Bridget tells us how to do it. I'm not going to try to take credit for the work being done. So we appreciate you all. We know it's been a journey, but we are so excited that we're going to be electing our officers. This is a huge, like, I feel like, we are electing, right? We had the opportunity to appoint, which was amazing. We love you all.
Yeah.
Love y'all. But that was a lot of pressure, like having to make these decisions on behalf of a large staff, like body. And I was like, gosh, we really need to get these elections in place. And so to be able to have our senators elect the officers for these seats is huge. So get ready. This is like another big milestone for Staff Senate. And then after that, we are going to be sharing we'll announce who has been elected early next week. It should not take us long, but our goal is to just touch base with Shelley, make sure we got all the pieces together, communicate behind the scenes, and then get it out to you all first as senators, and then of course across the board to the university. So we're going to be working on those components as well. And then after that, we go right into senator elections, and there's a plan. The membership committee has been doing a great job. Kelly Fink made this amazing document for our team. So Vanessa and Caroline will be leading us in that charge right after we get through officer elections. And I didn't really create space for questions. Should we get them? If you have questions,
I was
like,
just appointed, I don't know.
as Tyson shared, if you have questions, just reach out to him. What I would encourage any of you to do is if you have questions for any of your candidates, reach out to your candidates. Does that sound fair? Just because of timing? I just want to be mindful of time.
So
Sound
again,
good?
it starts at 4 o'clock. But be sure you can log into the system by logging in between now and tomorrow at 5 o'clock p.m. on Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. on Friday, final time. Deadline to vote.
Any questions? We're good? Okay,
All
we're gonna
right.
pass that show.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I want to thank Angela and Lena again for their amazing leadership. When you talk about heavy lifting and pushing forward, these women are phenomenal. And so I will say, if you have a big project that you need to get off the ground, they're going to have some free time coming up. So
Consulting business.
We're talking about what can we do next? What project can we do next?
get them behind it. And I mean that. They have been amazing. And to consider the fact that they have families and full-time jobs, in addition to this, and in addition to a little bit of pushback, a lot of bit of pushback at times. Just thank you just for staying the course and getting it done from all of us. A quick reminder that and I hope our candidates know this, I think they do, that this commitment to vice president is a 3-year commitment. So it would be for vice president and then president, and then as past president to stay on to the as an advisor role to the executive committee. So that's what you're looking at doing. A lot of people have put a lot of work into making this happen. So please go on and vote. Like really, that's the simple piece of it. Go in and vote on that. If you have questions of these folks, ask them. I would encourage you, if you're asking questions about an office that has multiple people for vice president, that you ask them all the question. The same question would be, nobody's going to come check your email, but I would encourage you to be fair and ask everybody the same questions. But they've all 3 said they'd be willing to answer them. So thank y'all for putting yourself out there. That's hard to do. That's hard to do, to put yourself out there for an office among your peers. And so thank you to all of you who've done that. Next up, any general announcements that anybody would like to share in the last 4 minutes?
I forgot to put this on, but I'm going to talk about the survey that we're thinking about doing and circulating.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we have a couple minutes, everybody. So we want to know how your first year of Staff Senate has gone. And so what we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be putting together a survey to ask you a couple of things. One is we're looking at your involvement on a committee. If you have an interest in staying on your committee, if you have an interest in kind of moving to something else, we want to make sure that we're meeting your needs. The second thing that we're going to be looking at is just kind of your overall experience, little things, meeting times, meeting lengths, location, just kind of want to get a good feel for the kind of the climate of the Senate for our inaugural year. So we're going to look out for that. And we definitely want 100% participation because we want to make sure that you're getting Staff Senate is what you want it to be, but also that we can become the things that you want to see. So I just wanted to mention the survey and the opportunity to kind of maybe, if you like to move around in committees, it's not going to be a requirement. And that also depends on numbers and who's there. Y'all know all those things will be considered, but just wanted to let y'all know that I'm working on a survey. So.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would say that now, not like right now, but like in the vicinity of now is a good time to let someone in leadership know if you don't plan to continue into your second year as a senator. No harm, no foul. It might be that you've taken on a different role at work or at home or whatever the situation may be. But we would like to know that before we go into elections, which will be starting very quickly. And so if you want to ponder that and let one of us know, we don't want anybody to leave. We love y'all, stay forever. But if it's something that you want to do, we also support you in that. So anybody have anything to share? Yes.
A reminder of the backbone documentary. Oh,
Yes. Oh, I don't know it. I don't know that off the top of my head. Do you?
So there's.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me.
There's, well, I was gonna say, you posted it, but
I
there's
did.
a documentary on campus that one of our wonderful students, who's an honor student, with her thesis. So she had interviewed a ton of women, Black women, about their experience at Carolina over the decades. And her thesis was to really make sure that she could share, the experience and then where we are moving forward and how we can advance forward as an institution of supporting Black women. And I think it's an incredible documentary trailer that gives you chills when you watch it. There's 3 opportunities to do it. There's a couple virtual abilities to watch as well. And so I would encourage you all to look on the teams and see if you can tune in one evening or one of the time periods on campus. The March 24th, I know.
The first one's full.
Yeah.
18th is sold out.
Yeah. March 24th is in the Russell House Theater, and it's a 6 p.m. showing, but they are doing a virtual that night, and that's where Hannah White has asked if staff were to participate to come to that one.
Okay.
If not, to try to go to the other ones if they get tickets.
Great. And I know, Bridget, you've got a close relationship with Hannah.
I do. Hannah, I was her graduate advisor, and we're in the same sorority. But she's done a great job, for her thesis, and we're really proud of it and looking forward to seeing it come out. So we're excited for her. She's put in a lot of hard work.
Awesome. Anything else to share for the good of the Lord? Yes.
Yes, just a note, you made the question about notifications of senators for election. If you all could notify her by the 18th, that would be greatly appreciated because from the membership committee, we're sending out blasts to the different divisions, units that will have empty vacant seats, and we really need to be able to pull that information from HR, et cetera, to be able to do that. So if you can do
Thank
that,
you for
that'd
that timeline. By the 18th, why don't we make it the 17th, just to be honest? Do we feel good about that? I feel good about that. Anybody else have any announcements that they would like to share? I'll share, last thing before we go. I went to the most amazing session with DEI this morning. They've got some new ones on the books, you guys, and they're really, really good. And they're doing the option of train the trainer. And so if you go to one, you really love it, and you want to take it on the road on campus, then they're training us to do it. If you go to it and you love it for your own personal growth, but you don't feel like teaching it to others, that's cool too. But I would encourage you to go to their website and sign up for these different sessions. They're unlike anything I've ever seen at the university, and we all know I've been here a very long time, but they're so needed right now. So that would be my lasting comment, is to please go to the DEI site and see what you can do to support them and attend those sessions. All right, we are adjourned. Oh, can I get a motion to adjourn? I just did it. Can I get a motion? Second. All right, all in favor? Done, now. I'm like, you're done. I know.